Well, welcome everyone to the She Defined Summit. So glad to have you here. And I have a treat for you. I would like to introduce you to Charlotte Tweed. And she is, I'm so happy to have you here, Charlotte. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for
Um,
having me.
Charlotte is a certified travel coach. She is ACF accredited, and that is the International Coaching Foundation, which is a big deal. And that is through the Travel Coach Network, and an Amazon best-selling author of Roam Free, the Travel Transformation Memoir, which really strikes my curiosity. She supports freedom-seeking, pre-retired and retired women who feel disconnected from their current lives and quietly pulled towards something more, often somewhere else. Doesn't that sound familiar? So, through relocation and long term travel, Charlotte helps women move their alienation from alienation to acceptance by guiding them toward liberty minded communities abroad where they can truly belong. Quite frankly, you all, this is so interesting to me. I knew it would be of interest to you all. Charlotte, I'm so glad you're here. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Louise. Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Good, good. Well, we're just going to just jump right in at that awakening moment. So
Mhm.
what first led you to question the life you were living and realize there might be something more possible for you? What was that like? I think everybody has their own form and we can all relate, but we'd like to hear your story.
Yes, everybody has their own journey, that's for sure. And mine actually started quite a while ago, the first time I left Canada in the winter. So
Oh,
I'm Canadian. And when we left, we actually had taken my parents on a trip to Graceland, Tennessee. My mom was a big Elvis fan,
okay.
so I'd always wanted to take her to Graceland. The chance came up, so we went. And we went in April. And April, where we live in Canada, is still winter. So there's
Oh,
still snow. It's not nice. It's cold. So that was my first time leaving Canada in the winter. And before that, I never understood it. I didn't understand snowbirds. I didn't understand why we're Canadian. The winter makes us strong. It makes us resilient. That's who we are. It gives us character. I didn't get why people left for 6 months of the year until I did it myself. And then I went, oh, I get it. I get it. We were standing out on the balcony of the condo we had rented, and it was sunshine. Someone was mowing grass. We could smell that green grass, and I knew what was waiting for me back home, which was piles of snow to be shoveled. And I thought, yeah, I get it now. I get it. So from that moment, I went, I have to find a way to get out of here. I need something different. I realized there was other ways to live.
wow. So that was an awakening, so to speak.
Yeah, it was,
You
yes.
you'd never actually experienced that before. What a dramatic difference.
Hmm. Yes, that's what travel can do.
Yes. So so actually you actually felt it before you sort of changed that internal language.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That is so great. So that moment of questioning seems to be something many women recognize. I mean, we all do. It's just very interesting, the travel element here
Hmm.
to me, and maybe not to everybody that's in the audience, but it is that shift, the possibility that it opens up. And so then you help people explore relocation and long-term travel. Is that correct? So
That's
as a path, and it is a path to freedom and self-discovery. So what do most people misunderstand about this kind of lifestyle?
I think there's a lot that people misunderstand, but one of the main things I think is affordability. A lot of
Oh,
people think I can't leave in the winter or I can't do long-term travel. It's too expensive. Travel's too expensive. But there are ways that you can do it in affordable ways. And there's a lot of ways to approach it. So
and outside of that, with those objections addressed, are there other things that come up, like say a woman that would stop a woman from exploring that idea even further?
I think too that it's too dangerous. A lot of women, safety is a big concern for them. But, I know single women who have driven all the way from Canada to Mexico to
Oh,
consider relocation, drove themselves. And I think that takes an incredible amount of courage
yeah,
in planning to
absolutely.
do that. So yeah, the affordability, the safety, yeah, those are two big ones that come up.
So is there one idea or objection that surprises you most? Not surprises you most, but surprised you, but you hear it often now with regards to women making a decision to travel more, do something different.
Another one that I do hear from people and along in the long term and relocation is leaving family, especially
Mm,
grandchildren. That's a hard one for people to come across. And I know I'm not a grandmother yet. We'll see what happens when that comes along, but I do have a son and he still lives in Canada. We relocated to Mexico. And, with technology these days, it makes it so much easier to stay connected and to stay connected with friends and loved ones that you feel you're deserting or maybe leaving behind or, um, giving up on. But we have a Zoom meeting call with our son once a week for our 40-minute free time that we talk with him and we can see his face.
yeah,
That makes a big difference,
it
which
does.
is years ago, nobody did
No,
Zoom
you just
or
see their
anything like
handwriting.
that. When you left, you left. You may talk to them
Yeah.
on the phone and that was it. But technology has made it so much more easier to stay connected with the loved ones back home.
And that's a good point because do you find that with the misunderstanding that comes from the idea of leaving home and leaving family, that actually develops self-doubt in the person?
I think so. Is your,
Or
it depends.
justifies the self-doubt that might already be there?
Yes, yes, I think so. Sometimes I think people try to talk themselves out of going. They look for reasons not to go. Why can't I go? I can't leave behind my grandkids. No, I can't go. It's too dangerous. No, I can't go. The government says it's too dangerous. No, people really try and talk themselves out of it when I don't know if they're afraid of that uh, transition or that growth, that your identity really isn't necessarily in your grandchildren. Yes, you're a grandmother, but it's not in your grandchildren. I know one grandmother who lives where we are, and people say to her, "How can you leave your grandkids?" She left full time, not part time. And she said, "Well, my identity is not in my grandchildren. I have built a life where I am in Mexico." And she does a lot of things that in the community, she helps out at orphanages, she plays pickleball, she's very involved with her church. She's really made a life for herself there. And of course,
Wow.
they go back and visit their grandkids, but her life does not revolve around her grandchildren.
And that is very interesting because take out the travel portion, there is still that identity crisis that can go on. And
Mhm.
your client is very wise in that my identity is not in my grandchildren. It's but and sometimes that takes some development. So
Mhm.
what would you want people to know right now? Um, that maybe they're unsure of that they're not brave enough or they're not ready to relocate. What could be the prequel, if you will, to arriving at that point?
Well, I guess, it's kind of the cliche, you can't eat a whole elephant at once. So it's taking it by steps.
Yeah.
You have to go step by step, and you have to really, I think, assess what are your core values?
Okay.
What do you feel is maybe threatened in your life right now that is shaking those core values for you? And address that and really what you want for yourself in your life. Go in steps. Nothing will ever be perfect, and you need to go visit different places. Even if you can at least, some people haven't even left their own country. So even if you can go to maybe another state or another province, go someplace new at least once every year, go somewhere new. So, because doing that travel really expands your boundaries. And I'm a big proponent of long-term travel. So go somewhere, okay, for 2 weeks. Then maybe next time, extend it to a month. Then maybe it turns into 6 months. That's how I progressed. I did it in stages. I didn't just, okay, I'm out of here, I'm moving, the whole thing. That really is a recipe for disaster. A lot of people fail that way because your expectations are so high. You don't know the community or the country you're moving to enough. But if you do it in stages, you really work yourself into it. You start immersing yourself in different cultures and learning new things, becoming much more comfortable. When different things happen, they're a lot easier to adapt to.
That is such a good point, that so many of us, whether it's stepping out to a different state, and that would be the case here, or to a different province, someplace close, if you haven't done it at all, then the expectation for doing it is like something big, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however, in yet a different culture, would be, oh my goodness, that would be overwhelming. That would be overwhelming.
It is, but
Even in this country,
yeah.
from state to state, the culture could be different.
Yes, and eventually too, when there's different languages.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh my goodness. Yes.
we are very fortunate that we're English speakers, and with English being the language of business and the language of travel, so many people who work in the travel industry or in, restaurants or that type of thing, they have to learn English because people travel. So in order to communicate, a lot of people do speak English. You're bound to find someone somewhere that speaks English, but if you can kind of break your way into it, the more brave you become. With us relocating to Mexico, we knew zero Spanish. When I say we, my husband and I, no Spanish at all when we moved to Mexico. So once we got there and knew, yes, this is where we're going to stay, we started learning. I do suggest that people learn the language before. But in our case, when we left, it was extreme circumstances,
Yes.
so we weren't really sure where we were going. But once we knew, we started learning Spanish. So, we can hold our own in restaurants and markets. And now when we go to other countries, the more languages you expose yourself to, you
The
recognize
easier.
different words that
Hmm.
are relative, and it's a lot easier
Yes.
to get around and fit in.
Well, that's a really good point. The more exposure, that's what it is. So, in the case of, what would you say to a woman who is feeling pulled to do this? to She's feeling pulled, but keeps talking herself out of it for all the reasons that we've talked about, and probably even more. What would your approach to her be? How could you support her in going for the call?
And going for the call, it's really, you have to really look inside. And like I said, it's really about your core values and your perspective. So I would really delve into what those values are, what you feel is, again, is threatened and being taken away. That's taking you away from yourself, because we're not trying to fix you. We're trying to find the community for you that fits in your lifestyle, what you
Hmm.
are searching for. So, doing that type of thing, doing personality assessments on what travel styles she has, how she makes decisions, how she relates to, yeah, the world around her, and different travel ways. It's really what you're looking for on the inside.
So actually, it's not necessarily geographical.
No, it's
The,
not geographical. No,
the
the country is not the
transformation,
first.
that's awesome.
Yeah, we don't start with a country. The destination is not the first place. So it's more about you, what you want. It's not about the country.
That is interesting. So my what's just sort of popped in my head is, so you have somebody who comes to you and says, I really would like to travel to such and such a place. I feel I need to go somewhere else, is the is
Mhm.
are the words that are used. not necessarily for a vacation, but for a different way. I'm looking for something different. Where do you go from there? What is the technique, or what are you wanting to know from that person who says I want somewhere else?
Well, I would want to know how well traveled the person is because it is going to depend. If you're more well traveled, there's different destinations you may want to consider. And if you're not well traveled, you may want to go someplace with a little less culture shock that you're going to feel a little more comfortable and safe in. So I would want to know that. And if the person is well traveled, where have you gone? What have you done? What have you experienced? What they do in their own life. Is she looking to retire now, or is she retired? Does she want to work online? How is she going to support herself? That type of thing, because it's going to make a difference too where you go. Can you work where you go? Can you not work where you go? Can you work online? Is that okay? Yeah, there's so many things to consider.
So, right from the beginning, you're looking for her comfort level. What
Yeah.
is her what what makes her comfortable? Because I was also hearing, if if there are all these other things that the client hasn't considered, it might need to start with your oneself and dealing with the values and deciding your values like you were talking about,
Mhm.
so that you have a clear path, as opposed to I just need to go somewhere else to have a change. Well, guess what? You're still going there, and it's you that needs to change.
And how long do you want to go?
Right.
Do you want to step into the long-term travel? Do you really want to think about location? And if you just want to escape for 2 weeks and come back, well, what are you going to come back as? Or is that
Mm.
travel experience, are you going to come back exactly the same? And you're going to have feel the same when you get home. Oh, no, I still want to leave. I still want to go. You know, it's back
Ooh,
home, right? So, what do you want out of that travel experience that's going to change you?
that is that is profound, because I was thinking, oh, well, you answered it before I even asked it, and that is, what helps clarify the difference between just going, or going for to transform something, to
Mhm.
have a change. Is we all know we want to change, but a lot of times we think it's out there, not in here.
Yeah.
And as we get to the age of, the society's telling me I'm too old and I'm this and I'm that, as opposed to, yeah, I have wisdom now,
Hmm.
but I'm not measuring up because of other things that other people say. Or why would you want to go there?
Hmm. I
And
just read an
being able to
yes,
go
and I
ahead.
just read an interesting article too from Dan Christian, the host of the Travel Trends podcast. And he said 2026 is going to be the year of transformational travel. You know, and I've heard that another time, the whycation. 2026 is going to be the whycation. Why do you want to go? It's not just to go and sit on a beach. Yes, there's a purpose for that. But when you come back, what has that really done for you? Just before you leave, you check out. You check out of work. You go in your 2 weeks. Your first 5 days or so, you're still stressed out about work. Then you start relaxing. And then in about 3 days, you realize, I have to go back to work. Or I have to go back to the same thing. Nothing's changed. You maybe had a little bit of R&R, but nothing has really changed you when you do that. So I'm a big proponent of community tourism, immersing yourself in communities, getting into the culture,
That's
and
great.
getting off the resorts because going to the resort in Mexico is not Mexico. Going to the resort in Cuba, that's not Cuba. You can put yourself in Jamaica, Cuba, Mexico resort. How are they different? And what does the difference do for you? You know,
So do
it's
you
in
have a
destination.
specific focus on locations that are seem to be more transformative than others, or styles of travel, or I, you know? You're
I
the
do.
expert. Tell me.
I do, and I look at it quite differently from a lot of people because a lot of people are, oh, okay, well, you go for the yoga retreat or
Oh,
that type. And I look at more when I go somewhere, I always look at a destination as can I live here? So
oh,
I go to the markets. I walk down the streets. We don't stay in hotels. We rent Airbnbs or apartments so that we're right in the city and where the people live. You know, where do they go for walks? Where do they go for entertainment? What do they do? That's what I look at because if I'm going to relocate, visiting somewhere and going somewhere for long term or relocation is a completely or vacation, sorry, versus long term and relocation is a completely different thing.
mm-hmm.
It's
Oh,
completely
yes.
different. You're not slamming in all the tourist sites that you want to see or historical sites or whatever. You're actually coming down to earth and what's it like to live here?
And
It's
really getting into the culture.
yeah.
And how exciting. That to me is so profound because then one can understand um, what's going on, and appreciate all the things that are very normal to, their pottery or the way their balconies are shaped, or I mean,
Grocery stores.
the
I
grocery
love going
stores.
to grocery stores. I love seeing what they have in grocery stores. I think it's so interesting. Yeah. But
That
a lot of times too, you think, okay, relocation, I'm going to relocate to this really exciting city or this exciting destination. But there's that honeymoon phase and it ends. So yeah, you have the time where it's really, really exciting and everything's new. But after a couple weeks, what's it like to live there, to spend every day there?
and when it's not the perfect weather.
Well, there are some places that have fantastic weather. Yes. Where we relocated to Mexico, because weather was one of my pain points,
Mm-hmm.
because weather in Canada, no matter what you do with Canada, you got the weather and you're not changing it. Um, where we live in Mexico, it's beautiful, beautiful.
All the
It's
time.
yes,
Oh, that's great.
it's
I
hard to,
love it. I love it.
but
I
you
love
wake up in
knowing
the
there's
morning,
places like that.
you wake up in the morning, the sky is blue, it's clear, the sun is shining, the birds are singing, there's no wind, it's incredible. You know, the temperature is very constant.
Oh, lovely.
There's a the hot season, and we have a rainy season. It's surprisingly April, May is the hottest, and it can be a little unbearable, but most of the time you don't need heat, you don't need air conditioning
Oh, that's wonderful.
most of the time.
That is
And
wonderful.
yeah, rainy season, it rains in the morning, clears off, and it's sunny all day, or it rains at night, clears off, it's sunny all day. So really, truly, all the places that I've traveled, it has the best weather that I have ever experienced in my life.
Well, you chose well, and that is wonderful. That is wonderful. So in coming to a close a little bit, but how do you differentiate yourself from others who help people move abroad?
Well, with my experience with others that do what I do, a lot of them focus on high net worth individuals and selling real estate, which
Oh,
I
interesting.
I don't do that. I don't say you have to be worth $5 million in order to work with me, whatever your high net worth may be. I'll just threw that number out there because a lot of them won't work with people unless they're high net worth.
Oh,
And a lot of the ways they do is they sell real estate. So they will show a development, sell the development, sell condos, sell housing, and I don't do that. So that's not my focus. My focus is the community aspect of it and finding the right fit for you where you're going to be accepted and live the life that you're looking for, not to sell you real estate.
very personalized.
Yes.
Very personalized. That's brilliant. This is so fun. Thank you so much for being here again. So for a woman who's listening, right, for the women who are listening right now, and there'll be one or two who feels like she's outgrown her current life,
Mhm.
but doesn't yet know what's next. What's one of the steps she can take toward that more freedom, purpose, belonging, that sort of thing?
I would encourage her to download the free guide that I have given to you as a resource. The Are You Craving More Freedom, Purpose, and a Place Where You Truly Belong? I would encourage
Wonderful.
them to do that and work through that and get in contact with me.
Great. And this is your free gift, the very generous. Thank you so
Yes.
much. And you have a link to it so that they can give you their name and email so you can send it directly to them.
Yes.
That 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 is spectacular. So anything more you would like to share, like a small experience, or or a a story of someone other than yourself who is relocated and how they're doing that you have helped.
Yes. I just have clients right now that just relocated to Montenegro, and
Oh,
I'm so excited for them. They're Americans who actually relocated to Nicaragua, and now they were like, okay, we're done with Central America. We've had enough. They lived in Europe for a while and wanted to go back to that European lifestyle, but it is very difficult for Americans and Canadians, North Americans, to get residency in Europe. It's challenging.
is
So,
oh really? Had
yeah,
no idea.
it's challenging. So, Montenegro had a very easy residency program. So, that was their number one thing. Their concern was we need a place where we can get residency. It's a long story. I won't go into the whole story, but why
Yeah,
they needed that. So, that was the country that I introduced them to. And I just got back from Montenegro myself. Very fascinating country. So I went there with them, went along with the relocation process, the going as they went through immigration as well, helped integrate them into the community, introduced them to people, different groups. The one, she's a musician, so I found a group where she can go jam sessions
oh how
on Friday
wonderful.
nights. So it's a really good fit for them. And her husband just got approved for his residency, so hers is next to come. So I'm so excited for them, and they're so excited for their European lifestyle in Montenegro and to meet new friends and build their life back again.
That it's so fun. I mean, it may not be for everybody, but it is available for those who have the pull, if you
Yeah,
will, the calling.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
one thing I did not hear you say is how can people get a hold of you as they're interested? I mean, I'm recommending they all go for the free gift, and that's a good
Yes.
way to get a hold of you. Is
It
there
is.
another way, just quickly?
Well, I'm on social media. My handles are Liberty Travel Coach. Instagram is probably where I spend most of my time right now, and my website is libertytravelcoach.com. So they can
Wonderful.
all go there. And all the ways to contact me are on the website. My social
That's
media handles,
perfect.
my newsletter, it's all there.
That's wonderful. I thank you so much. This has been fascinating, fascinating, and I know that you will get a lot of inquiries because it's unique. It's
Yeah.
so unique, and I really appreciate you being a part of this summit. I'm excited to find out all the info, especially about your book is on Amazon.
It is, yes.
And
Roam Free, a travel transformation memoir.
Roam free.
Roam Free.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Have a great January, February year. When do you're not in Mexico now. You're in
No, I'm house sitting for my brother right now on Vancouver Island. Him and his wife went to Belize. So,
beautiful.
yeah,
Beautiful.
so
And so when do you return home?
we'll be going back to Mexico at the end of April because
Okay.
it's time to apply for our permanent residency. We have temporary residency right now, and we have to go back at that time to apply for our permanent residency in Mexico. So we're here. My brother will be gone for a while, and he asked us to come home for Christmas. So we came home for Christmas, and I said, well, I might as well house sit for you while we're there.
That's beautiful. Well, how generous of you. That's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
kind. And
yes.
really appreciate you being on this and look forward to working working with you and with the the audience, I know that you were just explode. I know many of them have not heard this. It's just so exciting that I get to say, "Hey, you heard it first from us." So, thanks so much. Have a great time.
Thank you, Louise. You too. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.